Hello and good afternoon for the second time, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Me and Sean were hanging out this afternoon. I invaded his podcast and we had one heck of a time. I even told my egregious trade in everything that you love and know is that's called G.I. Joe 3 3/4 for the Sega Dreamcast. And it's fitting that that story came out today because today is the 26th anniversary of 9999, which, listen, let's just call a spade a spade. I love the Xbox 360, but nothing is better than the Dreamcast, and that launch lineup for the Dreamcast is one of the greatest. It is the GOAT of launched lists, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? I have this paused over here. So, folks, obviously, let me just put the music. There you go.
Yeah.
This is called Achilles Survivors. And why it's amazing and why it's like liquid and digital crack cocaine all rolled into one is that it is like Vampire Survivors. It does have some incredible characters. As you see, I'm running around as a skeleton, but there's a building aspect to it where you actually have to build units. And it sounds complicated, and you can play with one stick. That's it. It is freaking phenomenal. So I'm back on this. I'm playing Hordes of Hell. Greedland is one of my favorite games of the year so far. It's just been a great time for anyone that is a Vampire Survivor fan.
Did you say Hordes of Hell?
Yes.
As in like what do you call it? Jotun Slayer. I had the dev on GCP couple months ago.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What a great game. It just dropped into the Xbox store. I believe it's available everywhere. And there's a $20 edition.
Slayer. Awesome game. Yeah.
And there's a $25 one, which that's the one I got. And that's based on Norse mythology. Oh my God. So freaking good.
The elevator pitch is very, very easy. Vampire Survivors with Diablo 4 graphics.
Yes.
Boom, you're done.
That's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. But hey, man, Asante, how are you feeling, kind sir? Welcome back.
I'm happy to be here. It's been a busy couple of days, but we're talking games. It's a beautiful thing. I hear we're talking tech today, so I'm doubly excited. Let's go.
Yeah, well, listen, Hargeet just messaged me. He's running a little late. He is stuck at work, but we're gonna get into some tech talk because, folks, look. We got some information, and I want to pull up the story because I have it in front of me, ready to rock and roll. Of course, this is a story from The Verge, and it surrounds the very expensive and very impressive Legion Go 2. Lenovo's new flagship handheld, starting price, ladies and gentlemen, $1,100. But that is just the starting price. Oh, my God. We're going to get into it because when you consider now there are some differences, and we're going to break it down. Asante is going to help me do that, and we'll get Hargeet's opinion on the back end of it. It says, according to the story, and this story again, once again, from TheVerge.com, written by Sean Hollister, who is a senior editor and founding member of The Verge. And he basically says in the subcategory, bigger, heavier, and certainly better. Look, this is. I love the fact that you can take off the sticks on the side like the Switch. I know that was a big part of the original. A lot of people enjoyed that. One of the things.
The original right here.
Yeah, oh, hello. How you doing there? Look, there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
You are speaking to the guy with handheld. That's the Legion Go 1 right there with the sticks. There you go.
Well, look, when you take the $1,100 price and you put it up against what is rumored originally to be an $899 price, $900 versus $1,100 for, of course, the Legion Go 2 versus the big boy, which is the Xbox Ally X. Now, there are some differences, size being one of them. Pause, ladies and gentlemen. The Legion Go has a mammoth, near 9-inch screen, 8.8 to be exact. And I got to be honest with you, if there was one complaint that I had about the Ally or the Xbox Ally X, it's the screen is 7 inches. I wish, and again, Kay Asante will be able to get more in depth in it because he actually was in Gamescom and got hands on both the S and X version. And he does wish that it went from screen to screen, meaning there was no black bar. We'll get into that more specifically, but Kay, I want to bring you in, but before I do, let me just get into some of the prices here because this
Mhm.
thing is expensive. So according to the story, which again I have in front of me, the piece I'm reading says, "I'm afraid that handheld gaming PC prices are headed in the wrong direction," according to the author. The Legion Go 2 starts at $1,100 with an AMD Z2, 16 gigabits of RAM, and 1 terabit of storage. But this is where it gets a little bit more pricey, folks. According to the story, you'll spend $1,200 for the model with 32 gigabits of RAM, 1349, which is $1,350 for the Z2 Extreme with 32 gigabits and 1 terabyte of storage space. And folks, it gets even higher. Damn near $1,500 for the 2 terabyte model. It's $1,479.99. And again, I'm reading the story directly. It says, "I already thought that the MSI Core 8 AI Plus was pricey after the MSI bumped it to $1,000. And while this is pricier still, I wouldn't be surprised if that Claw's Intel Luna Lake chip may be competitive to the Z2E in Lenovo's new handheld." Okay, these
Mhm.
prices are bonkers. So, you know what
Indeed.
this tells me immediately, Kay, is that that price was held by both Asus and Microsoft, and we all thought, I thought, I'm a naive bastard at times. I'm like, well, they're going to lower the price because they love me. Well, it turns out I don't think that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, because right now I'd be willing to and happily to pay the $899.99 because it does come with the Z2, and even though the screen's a little bit smaller, it is going to be like literally an Xbox device. Hey, let's try and make sense of these prices. Oh my God, near
Yeah.
1,500 without tax.
So the TLDR of it, I say Lenovo has been, and with these prices continues to be the Ubisoft of handhelds. Now, what do I mean by that? That means great game, wait for a sale. That's what it is. I am the proud owner. We call ourselves Legionnaires. Don't worry about the disease of the Legion Goes. Yeah, this is stupid Discord talk, by the way. Don't even worry about it.
And their
Like,
Discord is awesome. By the way, you got to plug that later because the Discord
we
is
will
phenomenal.
absolutely, yeah. So this is the original Legion Go. It's a beautiful device. It came out way overpriced, and over time, it went back down to average. I see you, sort of tech. Average, normal consumer pricing. I ended up picking mine up for about 6 or 7, and that right there was a good price. Now, what was in the Legion Go 1? The same stuff that's in the ROG Ally, right? The ROG Ally X. So the same stuff there is here, except this had a terrible battery. Let's just be clear. 40 some odd watt hour. It was terrible. So I use it as my experimental piece. As you might see, I'm playing Silk Song on it. It too has an 8.8 inch screen. Glory. That's one thing they are good at. Let's explain what's going on here. Okay. What it looks like from the Lenovo side of the house is they are a laptop maker. They always have been a laptop maker. I work for a company who employs laptops. All our laptops are Lenovo laptops, right? And I too I'm the dude who has a bunch of handhelds, right? Every handheld is some aluminum, some plastic, something like that. These guys, steel. Everything they do is like super premium because they're trying to hit the laptop, the gaming laptop market, right? This is where they fall flat on their face, in my humble opinion, because you walk into a Best Buy, right? you're gonna see the Switch 2. You're gonna see the Xbox ROG Ally. You're gonna see like an MSI Claw, and then you're gonna see that thing, right? And yes, it does so much. Yes, it's far, far capable, right? It really is. But to a normal consumer, you're gonna see that one, these 3-4 handhelds side by side, maybe running Cyberpunk. They all run it relatively the same. And you're just like, why is this $1,500 and why is that $5? Right? They keep pricing themselves out of the market and keep like pushing themselves to different places where people aren't, right? This is not for the laptop user, because guess what? At $1,500, you can get a laptop that will crush any competitor, and it will crush even the Legion Go 2. It will crush that Legion Go 2 if you get a laptop, right? You're paying for the cool whiz bang 8-inch OLED screen VRR, which has never happened before. Let's be clear. What their magic sauce here is an OLED 8.8 with VRR and 120 hertz. It is awesome. It will be amazing. Remember when Asus came out with their 80 watt-hour battery, we were like, oh my God, what happened? And now it's everywhere. That screen, hopefully, will eventually become part and parcel of the experience from other handhelds. But today, yeah, Lenovo got the exclusive on it. And because of that, they are ridiculously pricing themselves out of the market. Now, here's the reason for me why I think this thing is DOA. It's a great device. It looks like it's very capable. All the speeds and feeds and all the tech is there. And even Sean Hollister pointed out in that article. I read that article. It's a great article. Even Sean Hollister pointed it out. This is the MSI Claw. As I said, I have a problem. I have handhelds, a bunch of them. This is the MSI Claw, right? It is $999.
Wow.
Right? $999, meaning it's $1,000, $999, which was considered expensive. But guess what you get for that $1,000? You get 32 gigs of RAM. You get a terabyte of storage. You get a processor that trades blows with the Z2, and it also has an AI chip. These guys are trying to sell you the Legion Go 2, the 16 gig version with, I think, 512 gigs of RAM and like a weaker processor for $100 more than this guy, which is technically the king of handhelds right now. It is DOA. It's ridiculous that it's being sold that way. Since this market is so small, they kind of don't know where to position themselves, and it's kind of stupid, you know. But what I will say, looking at the devices I've seen it, when it eventually is an open box sale somewhere on Best Buy shelves, oh yeah, your boy will be getting one of those. But I'm not getting one at that price because that is ridiculous, is what it is.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous, you know. So I was hoping they'd be competitive because we need people to be competitive. We need Samsung and Asus rather, and all the other competitors to come in, MSI, to all be competitive so that it drives prices down. But you know, this is not that. And anybody asking, I would not advocate that you buy this one, right? Like for me, the screen is awesome, and that's its only selling point. The Z2 that it's in there is without AI, so it doesn't have the tops that Microsoft has anointed, right? It doesn't have one of those, right? It's just not as capable as it should be for the price point that it's asking for, right? So for me, like, there's a specific consumer that will like it. This is not like I'm not that person for it. I think it's kind of a niche product right now, and until it hits, like, I don't know, if I see it at like $800-$700, oh yeah, all day, every day, it's mine. But at this price, it's just insane. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Yeah.
You know what? I want to get your thoughts on the versus aspect of this, right? Like, obviously,
versus the Asus.
Yes, because again, it does have some impressive features. The screen being one of them, but when you compare it to what is again rumored to be an $899, well, $900 device for the Xbox Ally X, it does come with the Z2 Extreme chip, right? It does come with the same chip, 1 terabyte of storage, right? I think it comes with, is it the 32 gigs of RAM that it comes with?
24 gigs.
24. Okay, so it's a bit it's a bit short on the RAM. Rather than 32, it's 24.
But it's fast RAM, much faster than it was before. I think it was 8,000 mega transfers or something. It is good RAM, even though yes, it could be 34. That's fine. But yes,
and then of course
it is
the
a
1.8 difference in screen size. You know, the 8.8 versus the 7.
Yeah. And it's an OLED. Let's be clear. That part is truly the selling point. It's a beautiful,
An OLED.
awesome OLED screen. Yeah.
There you go.
The screen is 8.8 inches. It looks huge. Big screen for us graybeards who don't want to be squinting.
Who wear glasses or have to squint or go like this.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Because again, you said that they're literally pricing themselves out. The thing that this is not going to have, but will have in the spring of 2026 is the full screen mode, the Xbox mode that the Asus is going to launch with. So that's something also to take into account. Now, granted, there are going to be people in here that have the kind of money. I don't have that kind of money. And I mean, because we're saving for a home, so I can't spend money like that. I can, of course, go spend the $900 if it turns out to be. But I want to get your hot takes on the versus aspect. If someone was in the market for a handheld, which one should they buy?
So you guys have already heard me say it before. I'll say it again. Like, I think the low end of that market is where the casual gamer will live, or the console gamer who's trying to
You're talking about the S model.
The S model, the white model, right? That's where they will live. And again, all rumor and speculation. If they are at $499 or even $550, that's a sweet spot. Why? Because it gives you so much for that, basically a Switch price. Right? Because the Switch is great as well, but the Switch gives you what it gives you and you can't do anything else with it. It just is what it is, a game system. Great. This is a full-fledged computing platform, so many games, all this stuff, plus it gives you the freedom to do with what you will. So at that low-end price, it is sweet spot. I think it's great. At the high-end price, though, the $899 price compared to the big dog, right? That's where I think it's a little bit different, because they're not talking to that console market, right? I know that there are console enthusiasts and they will buy the big dog. I know Mr. BoomStick is looking for the black one. He's trying to buy the biggest dog. That's fine. But for the most part, right, if you're a person who's just buying a handheld to consume and have fun playing games, you're most likely going to buy the white one because it's cheaper and it does everything you need it to do anyway, if you're not an enthusiast in that way, right? But at that high end, there are so many competitors that are doing things aggressively. It makes this price ridiculous, right? There's no world where you buy the Legion Go 2 instead of the Xbox ROG Ally. The screen is fine. The screen is great. The OLED screen, it is great. But let's not get it twisted. The screen that's in the Asus device is still considered one of the best screens out there, right? And yes, I've given them slander and smoke that I wish they had increased the size, because had they done so, I probably would have wanted to go for it. But I already have the MSI Claw, which itself has an 8-inch screen, right? So for me, that one is not necessarily the one I will go to. That's why even the smaller one excites me even more. I think that's a very interesting product for different reasons, right? I honestly think that about the comparative in pricing and about the fact that we don't really officially know what the prices will be for the Asus device, I think they're trying to be aggressive here, right? Because by all accounts, when you talk to those that know on Twitter and on YouTube, and those who the tech tubers who get their hands on these things before anybody else, the blame here is that AMD is starting to charge these guys way too much for those chips. And if you charge AMD charging you way too much for them chips, then now those prices get brought to you guys, right? Which is an unfortunate situation. If that is the case, still the Ally X, the black one, will be the cheapest Z2 Extreme on the block. All the others are at least $1,000, if not more, right? Like, I still think, and I'm pretty sure that when it's all told, this guy will still beat them, but it's $1,000, right? That thing is still like $200 or $100 and change cheaper, depending on how much it lands. So to me, this is not even a comparison, right? If you are in the market for the Xbox Ally, you're still in the market for the Xbox Ally, because it will give you the most bang for your buck, even at that high end, right? Now, Now, as far as the software is concerned, I think quickly after this announcement was made, one of the Lenovo representatives said, "Spring 2026, we'll get all those software features," right? And that is indeed the case. And of course, they're not going to talk about anybody else but themselves. But I have a strong suspicion that that's when the floodgates will open, not just for Lenovo, but for everybody else who is not called Asus. Probably spring 2026, aka also the MSI Claw. That's when you're going to see them all get the same thing that the Asus one has. So for me, that's why I focus so solely on the hardware, because the software will eventually become ubiquitous, right? It'll eventually become ubiquitous, and everybody will potentially have their hands on it too. So, like, if you want to go right now, you see that Legion Go 2, and you're like, you know what? I got the money. I want to go get it. I will not pocket watch you. Enjoy yourself. I'm proud of you. Good job. You can afford it, you know. But for me right now, I'm gonna wait for a sale. And and if anybody advocates for asks me rather for my opinion on it, unless you're a very specific kind of user, I still think you'll have a great time with the Xbox Ally. You don't need to, like, the 8-inch screen is the 8-inch screen. That's true, no doubt. But you know, worst case scenario, you can buy your Ally and then plug in a freaking VR AR glasses, and now your screen's like 100 inches in front of your face. You have options. You don't need to buy the $1,500 thing to have the biggest, baddest device out there. So for me, I think it's great. It's good that there's competitors, but we all need to show them that they are wrong with their pricing, so that inevitable Thanksgiving and Black Friday deal is really, really good. Then you're gonna see me rocking that Legion Go 2 as well. So stay tuned.
I mean, again, it's going to be very interesting, and you know, we're all still waiting. Supposedly, it's supposed to come out in October, which is only a month away.
Yeah.
And we are all waiting for pre-orders. And I mean, man, I'm honestly very shocked that we don't have, because again, I get DMs all the time. Hey, Boom, have you heard anything about pre-orders? Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, the minute I get the 411, as the kids like to say, I will be dropping that on the socials, because yes, I want to pre-order it. I don't know where I'm going to actually pre-order it. More than likely, it's probably going to be through Best Buy, because I think they have a deal with Best Buy. I don't know if that's going to be the only place that you get it.
I think I'll pre-order it at the Microsoft store, because I might be able to.
Yeah,
Microsoft
that would be a good
really
one,
good with the shipping.
You know what that is? That's points. That's
Microsoft I actually have points. I literally have $100 in Microsoft points just waiting for the day I can use it. So yeah.
I have 200 actually. I have 200.
Look at this, man.
Yeah, I have 200. Right. I have 200,000.
Well, excuse me, there, big man, with dropping the coin. Yeah,
big man on campus. Folks, if you didn't see the title screen, what's playing on your screen is called Achilles Survivors. It is basically a Diablo version with building aspects of Vampire Survivors. That's what it is. They have like how many characters are there? I think there's like 6 or 7, might even be 8 characters. I'm using the because they have different classes as well. He's a rogue, and he has a bunch of rogue abilities. One of which is my favorite, because again, when I play Vampire Survivors, I always try and get the my God, what's the name of it? The garlic, because it surrounds you. This is kind of like the garlic, except it's like death. So yeah, I'm again, one of my favorite games of this year, and I love the roguelites because they're very pick up and play. We are still awaiting Hargeet. I was hoping that we'd be here before we moved on to the next topic, but we can come back to this. I want to get Hargeet's hot take on this. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether or not you guys and gals keep your ears to the floor or to the socials as much as I do, but there is a little event happening later this year. As a matter of fact, it happens to be landing on this old man's birthday. That's right, September 25th is the start of the Tokyo Game Show, and it just so happens to be Mr. BoomStick's birthday, which is awesome because we're going to be doing the Boom's, I believe it's the 7th annual Boom's birthday bash on that Friday, which is the 26th, which is Breakfast with Boom. And we usually do it either the day before, usually the day after. So it's whatever the show is after my birthday. And it just so happens to be Breakfast with Boom that Friday. So we're going to be giving away $300 worth of prizes, ladies and gentlemen. And all All you gotta do to win one of those prizes is basically just tune in. I'll give you a hashtag to drop into the chat that when we're live, and if the picker from StreamYard's picture, you win. That's it, and it's gonna be all digital prizes. It's all gonna be Xbox, cards, because that's what we were able to get our hands on. And again, folks, you don't. I hate saying this because it advocates not subscribing to the channel, but you don't even have to be subscribed to win. You just got to be in the chat. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but that's fine. Again, I'd like you to subscribe to the channel to help us get to that 17 mark. But if you're not subscribed and you win, you win. It's not a problem. We try to help out everybody. But que asante, there are a lot of big things happening at this year's Tokyo Game Show. And I know that because a lot of the people from Xbox keep telling us that we're not going to want to miss this. We haven't had Greeny come out and say, temper your expectations, because, Greeny likes to do that, and we love Greeny. But absolutely. I want to bring into the conversation Todd Kalmus. Well, who is Todd? Well, he is the executive producer for the premier broadcasts at Xbox, Microsoft, and formerly at Mighty Media. Well, he went on to say something that was very interesting. And he says, can confirm, you don't want to miss this one. We're back with another hashtag Tokyo Game Show broadcast on September 25th. Be there. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't heard much from Todd. And he's probably a behind-the-scenes guy. But the one thing I will say that does seem very apparent, is that Forza Horizon 6 is expected and has been rumored to show up there. And not only show up there, it is going to be shown, it is going to be displayed, and it is going to be confirmed to be happening in Japan. And I think that is not only going to bring down the house, I think you're going to get PC players, Xbox players, and even more crazy, PlayStation players excited to see what.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
All you need to do then is just bring out Vin Diesel and Han, and you got me. I'm just saying.
Listen, Tokyo. Everyone's looking for a Tokyo Drift somewhere or another. I'm wondering. I mean, listen, it's playground games, ladies and gentlemen.
We've seen him on an Xbox stage before, pimping something that didn't come out. Maybe we pimp something that does come out. I don't know.
Maybe. Look, Forza Horizon is probably, and I don't think I'm going too far out on the ledge here, folks, one of the greatest racing franchises in gaming today. Now, if you would have asked me this 10 years ago when, Forza, Forza first came out on like the OG Xbox, you can have an argument to say that something like Need for Speed was better, or pick your favorite racer. But I think it's safe to say that Playground Games has cemented themselves as the best racer, best developer for when it comes to making racing games. And a perfect example of that is a 4-year-old game currently is the best-selling game on PlayStation 5 this year. That's a pretty incredible statement to be able to say. Well, the Tokyo Game Show, I don't think it opens and ends with just that announcement, Kay. I think that announcement's going to be there. Obviously, that leaked a couple of weeks ago. We don't have any confirmation that is happening, but we all speak to people in the industry, and the running narrative is that yes, that is going to be the big announcement. It is going to be announced there. It's why it wasn't announced in June while we were there celebrating with all the Xbox gamers for the showcase. And I even looked over and I said to Kay when the event had finished, no Forza? Like, that's wild. And it didn't dawn on me at the time, Kay, that the Tokyo Game Show. I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I would have guessed this at 100 guesses. Like, oh yeah, they're going to show up at the Tokyo Game Show and they're going to show off Forza Horizon 6 in Japan. Like, it's storybook like. right? Like, I mean, incredible. Again, not the only announcement, Kay. I have not heard from anybody particular. This is just my personal running theory. Square Enix is going to be there. And I think it's safe to assume, again, not to make an ass out of you and me and the rest of the people in the chat, but it's safe to assume that Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to get an official release date for Xbox. Now, it'll probably get us the same release date for Switch, but we're here to talk about Xbox, and that's what we're going to do. So, my additional running theory, and of course, folks, this is Banana Boat Sunday level goodness, is that it's shadow dropped at Tokyo Game Show. Now, I know they said winter, and I know we're just getting into the fall, but maybe what if that was some smoke and mirror stuff by Square to do this, to drop it into our laps? But I'm going to take it a step further. I said it on Sean's show today. What if this is an olive branch of goodwill from Square Enix? Now, they're not doing it for free. They got a bag, but potentially. What if it's dropped into Xbox Game Pass as, hey, we're sorry it took 5 years to get this game on Xbox? See, that sounds like an olive branch I would be willing to reach out for. Okay, let's get your thoughts on this. Let's first talk Forza Horizon 6.
So first, the Forza Horizon 6 stuff. That is a rumor and speculation that has been floating around for a while. I will challenge you, Boom, and I will say, like, that's the perfect place to announce it. And we have been speculating that they would announce it there forever. You go to TGS and you announce something that folks at TGS would be completely excited for, right? That's why those shows don't become regurgitations of what you saw in June. Like, show us something new that's very specific to that region, to that location. I'll put a quick pin in this one. Watch me put on the tinfoil kufi. You do know what the TGS audience also loves, right? Handhelds.
Indeed, I said that on Sean's show as well. Yes, sir.
All I'm saying is when you're watching TGS, make sure you got your wallet ready. Anyway, so Forza Horizon, we have been waiting for this for so long. It spells itself. We've been asking for it for a ridiculous amount of time, right? Only thing to do is to talk about it and unveil it where it like in the region that it is made, right? This is the moment. This is their Assassin's Creed Shadows moment, right? How long did we ask for Assassin's Creed in Japan? We actually eventually had to get Ghost of Tsushima had to eat its lunch real quick before it did right by it, right? So far, no other game has really talked about going to Japan in that way, in a real racer like that, right? There may be others, but obviously they have not hit as big as a Forza Horizon would. So to me, oh yeah, absolutely, that is the perfect place to announce it. And yeah, like I agree with you as well that would be the perfect place to announce it. Shadow drop it, hell, put it in Game Pass day one, because like another rumor and speculation is that it's been kind of a tumultuous situation with them having deals, not having deals. You know, it changing hands back and forth. They kind of got done dirty in a certain way. So how do you make up for it? And this is not any ridiculousness. We've spoken to people. They have given us some of the ins and outs of what happened, like, right? And this is how you mea culpa. That would be absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. That would be, to me, that'd be the cherry on top when this year ends, because obviously they have been on a roll in Game Pass with so many other titles. So for me, when it comes to Forza, that's perfection. Now, what was the secondary ask that you had?
Well, the secondary ask, I think I might have lost my chain of thought, because I'm actually reading the story over here in front of me from Todd. Look, I'll say this and I'll remember in a second, folks. If you remember what I said,
Square. You mean Square? That's the secondary one. The Square one. That too is quite interesting, because like Square has been like, you know, Square's been they've been having this conversation for a minute now. Since that last time where where Square CEOs and all of them kind of did the Voltron Power Rangers handshake with Phil Spencer, Like it's been a whole thing. We've been waiting to see what that turns into. I wouldn't like. I actually think that definitely we see them there. It would be really weird if they weren't there, right?
Yes.
And it would be really weird if they weren't there with Xbox in a big way, because this has been kind of priming the pump for a little while. Now, I will throw one more oddity into the mix, and this is complete tinfoil theory, goofy theory for me. No background information, no nothing. But I am so convinced, because if it doesn't happen, I'll be like, come on, guys. I'm talking OD, Kojima.
He's having an event. He's actually having an event. I don't know whether you heard about it. He's actually having 2 events. So the first one is going to be an update to the 2 games that he's working on, OD being one of them. Now, there is another event happening, and I don't know if it's going to coincide with the Game Awards. It makes sense if it does, called Beyond the Strand, which is supposed to be happening in December. So he is going to be there. So you're absolutely right. OD, we got to get some sort of a gameplay trailer, brother. Like, that is something that we need, because he's been working on that game for a minute.
And I'm not talking about little snippets either. I'm talking about, like, unveil that thing, show it off. Don't give us a couple of ghost heads like they did last time, you know, which, hey, no doubt, really cool, graphically intensive, you know, breaking the fourth wall, almost killing Uncanny Valley in its crib. Cool ghost heads, but still ghost heads nonetheless. That's not a game. So I would love to see a proper game that he's working on, and I would not be surprised that I see it at this event. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, the long and the short of this is, like, we've been saying this for a minute, and people who've been watching the show with me on it has heard me say it many times. Every time there's a show, they have so much content that they need to be out there showing and proving. And it shouldn't be the content that you saw in June or some other time. It should be new content specific to the location content. There should be a reason to go to any and all of these events, because it should be new stuff. They are one of the biggest publishers in the world at this point, and they have so much content. So why is it that it's currently June and then a regurgitation? I think that's about to change.
I mean, that's a great point. I'll say this: if there's one thing you can guarantee with a Kojima game, is that you're going to get a pretty lengthy trailer. Like, he's known for that. If you remember when they were first showing off Death Stranding 1 and Death Stranding 2, he had those trailers that, I mean, they were like 5 minutes. They were CG'd all over the place. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see what they're cooking. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if he'd make the trip. I don't know if what he's directing right now, what he's working on, but it would be pretty badass if he showed up with Jordan Peele and let Jordan show this. Because you remember at the Game Awards a couple of years ago, when Jordan Peele came out with him, he said, we are working with the Avengers of horror. He said that. Yep, so we don't know who it is. I'm assuming it's all of the bigs. Like, you may get a James Wan to be a part of this, and there's so many others, right? Like,
yeah.
But okay, I have some more. These are hopeful dreams and wants. Okay, so I'm going to start first with a throwback. Now, this is OG kind of talk right here, folks. All right, you have to be a certain age to be a part of this conversation. Sorry, we're gonna velvet rope a couple of people. All right, sorry about that.
The gray beards need to step forward. Okay, let's go.
Indeed, we do. There was a game on the Xbox 360 that I think not only stands the test of time, is probably one of my favorite RPGs from that era of gaming, and that is The Lost Odyssey.
Oh yeah,
and The Lost Odyssey is it was such an amazing. I think it was on 4 discs, if I recall correctly, 3 or 4. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the King Webb, I see you, brother. I see you, King Webb. That's what I'm talking about. It would be incredible. Now, again, this is all old man hopes and dreams, ladies and gentlemen. So walk with me on this. Either we get a direct sequel or we get a remake on the level of Final Fantasy VII. I would jump out of my chair in excitement and potentially cry live on camera. What do you think about that pick? Lost Odyssey making a big, because everyone's been asking for it. I'm
Oh
not the
yeah.
only one. Jamie Moran consistently talks about it. I see threads of it. I see people talking about it in discords.
Mhm.
Everybody, I mean, I think Phil Spencer himself has even talked about Lost Odyssey, and he knows that and Blue Dragon were
Yep.
massive successful hits, not
Yep.
only, of course, here, but in Japan, which is what I mean. The one inkling of success that they had in Japan was because of those two games.
Those
What are
two
your
games.
thoughts,
Yep.
man?
Yep. Honestly, like it's hard to get what Microsoft will do nowadays because their focus has really shifted in certain ways, right? I like some of the focus, but some of the focus leaves me questioning what their next move will be, right? The Xbox of old, who was all about, delight and all that. Absolutely, right? This is a game that's been locked to the 360. How many games in any of these libraries are locked to one system? It's very, very rare to find a game that just cannot be played in other places. Obviously, through back compat, you can still play it on the current systems, but it is very, very much a game of its time. You can tell it needs some upgrades, pretty
It needs
drastic.
a little TLC, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this game came out in 2007, for God's sake. December 6th. I'm looking at it right now. December 6th, 2007, on the 360. RPG, old school turn-based RPG. So none of that new school, shoot 'em up, beat 'em up
Action
kind of
adventure
situation. Action adventure. Yeah,
RPGs.
yeah, exactly. So this would go back to the roots of it. But you know what? I think this would be a phenomenal idea. Phenomenal idea. And obviously the developer initially was Mistwalker.
Yes.
How about I double up on you and say, yeah, remaster or remake made by Square.
Wow, dude, that would
And now
be
now now the question,
epic.
you guys go, Square, look around. Microsoft has been hiring other dev studios to make their games for a minute now, right? Both ones that are normally hired and ones that you just go, Crystal Dynamic, I thought they don't work for nobody. They work for you if you got the dough. And clearly these dudes got the dough, right? And we know that Lost Odyssey was always, I wouldn't say aping, but it was taking inspirations from Final Fantasy. It was a Final Fantasy style game by Mistwalkers, right? So imagine if they hand the IP to Square and say, let's start with a remaster or a remake in your style and see where we go from there. That would be something to talk about.
Again, it's just Xbox is going to be there, and if all the cards that we're talking about get played, the
Mm,
biggest one in the deck, the ace of spades for Microsoft is going to be the announcement that Forza Horizon 6 is coming next year, and its location is going to be Japan. Again, it's a storybook kind of
yeah.
conversation.
Oh yeah.
If
Yeah.
they add there was something called Eternal Sonata. If you remember that,
Yes, of
that was a
course. I played the heck out
phenomenal,
of Eternal Sonata.
yeah,
Yes.
great RPG
Hmm.
as well. Um, they're in a position to make these big announcements. Now, again, I haven't one additional, block to talk about, but I want to just kind of keep it tight with Xbox. You mentioned Japanese gamers. And what do
Hmm.
Japanese gamers love? Well, it back in the days it was consoles. And they used to, I
Yes.
mean, I don't know if I remember, you remember reading the EGMs from back in the days. They would show that
Mhm.
these gamers would wait online for 3 days for the next Final Fantasy or the next console. Like,
Mhm.
that's what they did. Well, gaming has evolved over the course of years. And right now, we know that Japanese gamers are big into mobile. They're also big into handheld.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest with you, Kay, you alluded to it. I think I knew where you were going, to be honest with you.
I don't
And
know what you're talking about.
that would be to get the actual price of and potential pre-order. Because if you remember when Sarah Bond was talking about the actual consoles, the handhelds from Asus,
Mhm.
he literally said that they're going to be launching into 34 territories, It's not just going to be the US. It's going to be a massive launch with Asus and Xbox and Microsoft. And Japan, if there is a game to potentially be played on this handheld, that would be the spot to announce. Let's get your thoughts on that, man.
Sir, I mean, I'm kind of convinced, and again, we don't have any like when these things happen, people like to throw when these events are getting close, people like to throw around a lot of lists and a lot of factoids that end up going nowhere. And even if they did end up going somewhere, the fun is speculating and being wrong or not being wrong, right? So
it's fun.
So I don't even seek it out. I don't trust any of them that come out because very few people actually know what's going on. No prior knowledge. I'm saying that would be the perfect thing. Imagine, because let me say this to you. Forza Horizon, like the Forza Horizon that exists today, plays so well on the Ally S. I have video of it. I show it on the channel. It's you're just like, yo, this thing is amazing. You wouldn't expect it to play so well. It's thin, it's light, it plays so well. Imagine if they announce a Tokyo version of Forza, and then they also have a handheld that you can play it on, because that market is all about the compact devices, right? Switch dominates. It's home court, right? We usually we think and frame our thoughts in an American way because we live here and there's a large market here, so we sometimes forget and kind of bubble ourselves as the market. We are a piece of the market, right? There are many others out there that make up larger swaths of the market as well. We are not the biggest piece. Combine the world, there's a lot of gamers out there. And specifically, I would contend that with the exception of the Switch, handhelds in general don't dominate here as much as they would in the Asian regions, because they are those kind of gamers. They are about that handheld, take it on the go kind of thing. Hence the Switch's success in Japan and other regions, right? So for me, I don't think it's too far-fetched at all. The 1-2 punch of, oh, here's the game and here's the great aggressive price for this awesome handheld, boom, stick it together and there you go. That's perfect message. So I don't think that's too far-fetched. And if they're not thinking about that, there's still time. Then Xbox, make that happen, because if you don't, that's a wasted opportunity.
I agree. Shout out to Punty in the chat. He says, Double Barrel Gaming and Asante, keep it tight. Big pause. Boom. Hold on. This is a PG show, damn it. I want to throw up a pic from somebody in the chat. Good friend of the show, G Maybe. Look at this. Jade Empire remake.
Sir, I was looking at that game 2 days ago. I own Jade Empire on the EA store. I was looking at that 2 days ago. I'm like,
what a great game.
Y'all mother F is going to remake this thing, because I really want to play it again, and the controls are god awful compared to how they're
terrible. Terrible awful.
I was looking at that 2 days ago going, man, oh man, because that was my first real love. I love it RPG. I loved that game so much, but it's the gameplay and the moment to moment is a sign of its time. It definitely needs to be modernized. Wow, that'd be an awesome thing if that was announced. Whew,
I just think there's opportunity here. Now again, I'm just knowing the Japanese region, knowing what Xbox is trying to do, right? They are trying to position themselves because they've become such a major publisher with all of the IPs that they have, and now they're putting games everywhere. They're trying to position themselves where I know you had heard that there's potentially going to be a cloud version of Xbox Game Pass, a cheap cloud version. It could be as cheap as $10. And if that does happen, you're going to get people from all walks of life to be like, well, I don't own the game, but I'll pay $10 a month to play new games on the cloud. Now, I can't specifically say that's day and date. I don't know the specifics of it, but if we're just staying focused because they're going to be in Japan, they have an opportunity to potentially show off some things, right? Show something special, right? I know that for me, Forza Horizon in Japan is something I've always wanted. We're going to potentially finally get it, but I'm hoping there's at least one more thing, right? And that one more thing could be a Lost Odyssey remake. It could be a Blue Dragon remake. It could be Eternal Sonata, right? It could be any of those, because those were, exclusives for, I don't know if Eternal Sonata was exclusive, but I know it was a big push on Xbox 360. And again, it seems like the perfect opportunity to wow that audience. Now, I'm not a marketing manager, Kay, so I don't know, but we always say that sometimes they do things and they're a bit of a head scratcher. I hope they've been planning for this. I hope they do have something special. I don't know.
Yep. Oh, you're not wrong, sir. We always seem to find the perfect plan, and then they don't follow it, and we scratch our heads like, what the heck is going on here?
Yes.
But like, by all accounts, it looks like this time around they kind of took the mission seriously, and it definitely looks like they will be, even if it's nothing that we are speculating here, it will be something worth, watching to see what happens. I'll go back to it. I always say it. Every show is a new opportunity for them to wow people. Yeah, you can remind people of something, give us a release date for something you showed before. There's no shame in that, right? But less filler content. What I mean by filler content, I'm talking about the umpteenth time we see a Sea of Thieves trailer. Those who love Sea of Thieves, unless you're telling me Sea of Thieves is coming to Switch 2 or something, right? Those who love Sea of Thieves already know Sea of Thieves. Move on. Instead, fill it with new content for the different audience. Now, actually, that's another point. That's another question. Do we see games that will be going to the Switch there? Do we see, because that is the Switch's home turf. That's the main market. We all know that the Switch is the market leader when it comes to console sold and whatnot. They are dominant, right? So, and we also know that Microsoft is not above putting games everywhere now, right? So it's fine. We haven't really seen them make a splash on Nintendo's platform as of recently with the Switch 2. Is this when we see it? TGS? Is this when we see a bunch of games that are going to the Switch? I doubt that they'll announce it on the Microsoft stage. Maybe isn't there a Nintendo Direct coming somewhat soon?
I think it's Friday, as a matter of fact.
It's Friday. Okay.
Yes.
So maybe that's where they announce that stuff, because I do think they have a lot in the tank for all of those platforms, including Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're definitely going to see, but hey, Hargeet, what's up, dude?
Hey. Sorry I'm late.
What's going on, sir?
And listen, brother, work is work. It's real life.
Yeah,
we're talking Tokyo Game Show.
Oh, nice.
And obviously there is there's a rumor that we talked about once before, but as we get closer to September 25th, outside of it being my birthday, and if I had a birthday wish, it'd be Banjo-Kazooie wearing ninja outfits in an open world platformer. That would be my dream, but that's not going to happen, so it's fine. I won't get my Banjo-Kazooie. It is what it is. My birthday is ruined. Thank you. But no, all jokes aside, we were just saying that it's an opportunity for Xbox to wow that audience, and they can do that with Forza being in Japan. I think, and again, you got to remember something, folks, and this is something we haven't touched with me and Kay haven't touched yet. I just thought about it, so of course I'm going to then pass the mic over to Hargeet. As much as we, as the American audience, loves Forza Horizon 5 for what it is, right? It's this big open world. We're driving through it. We're racing. We're doing jumping. We're doing all these things. As great as that is, and how amazing that experience has been for 50 million players so far. I mean, that's insane that it has crossed 50 million players. But the racing scene in Japan is vastly different. So what that says to me is that Forza Horizon 6, sure, it's going to have the races through Tokyo, and it's going to be neon lights, and it's going to be, cherry blossom trees and incredible mountain or paintings in the background as you're driving through. But their drift scene is real business. Like it's the K cars that they had over there are built for that. So I would imagine that this game is going to have to incorporate maybe something a bit different. So this might be, in some instances, the Forza Horizon game that you know and love, but it might also be a new experience for a lot of gamers outside of that region. And I think that is a brilliant idea. And again, I mean, I don't care if it's the same Forza because it's not really going to be the same, but it is. But if they add a drift element to it, where there are races that you specifically use their cars and the drifting techniques to win these races, I think it's going to be brilliant. But also, Hargeet, we were talking about this could be an opportunity to bring new gamers to the Xbox platform via the handhelds. Like, we know the Japanese audience is a mobile audience now. They are a PC oriented audience. Yeah, sure. Do they buy consoles? Absolutely. They buy the Switch like it's going out of style. And of course, if PlayStation 5 does pretty good there as well. But what doesn't do good there is Xbox. And Xbox hasn't done good there in decades. So this is an opportunity, Hargeet, and again, this is, I know a lot of us are going to buy the big boy. We're going to buy the $900 version. But if the delay that's rumored to be something that Asus themselves pushed to try and bring down prices, again, that's the running rumor in the community. If they show up to the Tokyo Game Show, they show off Forza, they may have a surprise, and maybe, again, we talked about this before you got here, maybe Lost Odyssey remake or something big like that just kind of brings down the house. And then they announced that the Asus, the S model, is $499. They were able to drop it $50. My God, that's going to fly off shelves. And you're going to get people to then sub Xbox Game Pass because that's where all these games are going to be available for a low monthly price. Let's get your thoughts on the Tokyo Game Show and some of the stuff that we just mentioned.
Yeah, so also keep in mind that for some reason, all these consoles are cheaper in Japan, and significantly so, right? So it could be that the prices in Japan are even better. They haven't announced prices over there.
They have not announced the prices there. No.
We got the leak for Europe, and therefore they just kind of said, yeah, that is the price in Europe, right? That's basically all we have. Hey, we'll see if they do anything aggressive over there, and push it to even cheaper and compete maybe with that Switch 2 even better.
Yeah.
We'll see. Look, they're certainly bringing the consoles there, so they're going to be in TGS, right? So will they try to aggressively price it so that people are interested in it? I would hope so. But that's not the only avenue, right? We know that they're kind of multi-plat for a lot of their first-party titles. So I don't know that Forza Horizon 6 is coming day and date to other platforms. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But it could and very well will be there at some point, right? So we will expect. It did really well with Forza Horizon 5, so we will. I'm assuming 6 will be there. Apparently Gears, maybe not. I don't know if you've heard about that one, but Gears didn't quite sell the way what was expected. But so we'll see if that continues.
Yeah, it didn't even chart, dude. It didn't even chart.
And it also kind of. It's an interesting question of would Halo. Now, this is my fear too, by the way. I know we're veering off topic. Was would Gears fit that audience? Right, there is a curated audience on PlayStation that's becoming apparent now, right? Where you see Helldivers doing really, really, really well on Xbox because it's an Xbox type game, right? And you see, Gears not doing so well over there because it's an Xbox type game. But either way, so Forza just is, thankfully, it's just kind of generic. It's a cool arcade racer. You start playing it and you're like, this is good. And I just want to play, right? So enough people, bought it over there. I think it was way more popular on Xbox and PC. But whatever, it's still getting some sales, which is awesome on PlayStation. So, but yeah, I think the thing to do for them is to say, this is Xbox. which is this massive behemoth publisher that goes from Call of Duty down to, to Grounded 2. And you say, okay, and everything in between. We got Keeper coming, like all this stuff coming, right? And if you want to play all these games, you can subscribe to our service or pay full price. And you want to play on other platforms, no problem. We have all these games on Steam day and date. We have many of these games day and date on PlayStation, some of them on Switch. Go ahead and buy them there. But we got a platform for you if you want to, pay the monthly fee instead and, play all these games, including Forza, right? And so if they can make that pitch over there, do a good job with it, why not, right? They're starting to focus across the globe, which is very interesting, right? They had a big presence in Europe. That's good. They're looking to have a big presence in Japan. And it's not just going to be like little, hey, we got that game that you've been playing for 10 years. We finally have it over here. Yay. So, no, we're going to be announcing big stuff, and we're going to announce it in Tokyo. So that's kind of a cool new thing, right? So now look, this is probably just the reality of they have so much to announce. So like, where do we fit all this stuff? So maybe that's just it. And they're like, why not? Let's announce this over there. Right. So, but yeah, I think it is a good idea for them to start pushing across the globe to see what they can do. And they have to play that game now. They're not the little niche thing in Microsoft. They are a global, massive behemoth publisher at this point, possibly the biggest publisher of games. And if they are, they kind of have to act that way, right? So they have to go to all these major areas and say, here we are, here's what we're bringing to you, create excitement, right? You still have, their PC realm that is very heavily played out there, right? So in Asia. So, and Activision Blizzard brought a lot of that with their catalog. So, this is stuff they need to kind of keep promoting. And I don't know if they push a lot of that ABK content out there. They probably will and probably should. But yeah, it is kind of interesting to see a big marquee game. We're all assuming, based on what we know, that Forza will be announced. I think that's great that they're doing that, bringing it to Japan, which is also something we're rumoring based on rumors we're saying, right? Cool. Like, as in, it's set in Japan for the game itself, right? So that's good, right? So cool.
Yes.
Will this drum up business for them in the console space? I don't know, right? The whole mobile space fits very well, like you pointed out, in Japan. Would this be a good time to bring that, like that lower tier, like, Kei Asante was saying, hey, don't focus just on the big boy. That lower tier box is plenty good. And, for a majority of players that are just going to be mobile, they're like, this is good for me. I don't need to, like, they're not the ones that have the 100-inch TV. They have the mobile for a reason. And that's a good thing for them, right? So fair enough. Maybe that is the right play, and make some sort of pitch to make that be a big deal over there. So we'll see what they do with it. I'm excited to hear all the announcements, because that's still going to affect us, right? We as players here still get to see those things, and what they bring is global. So that's awesome. We also have other publishers bringing their things to TGS. So TGS is becoming a bigger and bigger thing now. That's good. But will Xbox make a play and try to displace Nintendo? And PlayStation's kind of there still, just not as prominent as Nintendo, but they're still there. They're not like totally dead there. But will they make a play to say, hey, we've got something compelling for you, right? For you, players who like portable and want the convenience of a laptop / PC. We got all of that all together here. Yeah, cool idea. I know you guys already probably talked about the whole the Lenovo Legion Go 2.
Yeah,
very,
pricing.
very, very expensive.
Yep.
But it's also got.
Are you buying one, sir?
No. I barely use the portables. I mostly just play docked with my Switch 2.
Me too.
And I mostly play on my PC or my Xbox. So the times that I'm able to leverage that device is very minimal. So I don't know. I'm really just interested in what the interface is like, how well it functions as a device. So I'm really looking forward to the Xbox version, but I assume this one has all the bells and whistles as well.
It's not as performant or whatever. It's 16 to 32. There are very big similarities. That selling point is an 8.8 inch OLED VRR 120 hertz display. That's what that is. That's all that is. Yeah.
And that's what you'd be buying it for the screen.
Yeah.
And now you know why they didn't go with that, because they're like,
no,
we can't sell it for that much. So we will see what they do with the pricing. That is still to be determined, right? And all the people complaining about tariffs, again, that only matters here. Remember, there's a global market out there, and Japan is a big market, and they want to try to see if they can do something with it. Europe's another big market. They already announced the pricing there. So we will see what they do with it, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what they pull off.
So about
Japan,
the pricing,
historically has cheaper prices. Like all this stuff is like $50 to $100 cheaper there. It's just it's crazy.
Could you imagine if they show up there and they announce that not only do they have something special like a Lost Odyssey remake or something on outside of the expected Forza Horizon 6, but they announced that the handheld is either $499 or $449 or something like that. That would be
so boom. I have a weird theory about this pricing, and Hargeet, you're here. I want to hear your thoughts if I'm completely crazy.
Yeah.
We've already heard that the rumor and speculation that Boom you talked about the pricing, about them still holding out hope that they could still somehow make it cheaper, right? What if, and this is total conjecture by me, if it happens, I'll be very happy, but where you heard it first. What if they split the take? And what I mean by split the take, because these two are marketed towards different audiences, right? The smaller device will be marketed towards the casual console audience, right? So we know what prices they are expecting. And then the big guy will be marketed towards the enthusiasts, and we know what price they're expecting, right? So what if, in order to keep the small one $499, the big one turns to $950?
Ooh. A price
always
increase.
a possibility.
I mean, it is. It's certainly. I mean,
that way the small one stays $499, which is ungodly attractive because they know which one will move.
I mean, that's a very interesting theory, and it's possible. I will say, like I said in the opening, the pricing of the Legion Go 2 is so egregious that I think when you look at, because I'm wondering whether or not the price being held was for a couple of reasons, market, tariffs and things of that nature. Was it for, a potential price reduction, or were they waiting to see what Legion Go 2 was going to be? And now that they've seen the prices, they're comfortable saying, no, we're going to keep it at 900 and 549. But if you want to make these things fly off the shelves and you really want to put pressure on Lenovo, you drop the S model to $499. And I think that's something, because again, you just said it, Kay, console gamers have an expectation, and it's not it's not your fault, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we were conditioned as gamers. Most gamers will say, well, yeah, I'll pay $500 for a console. Right.
And enthusiasts will pay a little bit more than they should, because they're enthusiasts.
They're enthusiasts, indeed. It's a damn interesting thought. I will say that.
I don't know. I've been going back and forth with BV about that. It's one of those things. I know that one of them wants to keep the prices low. I know one of them is okay and indignant about the pricing. I'm not going to speculate as to who's what, but that's the way you get the best bedfellows. One's a little too high, and then one's a little aggressively priced, and not too high to where it becomes a problem, but it's like $50 more. You take the 50 from here, you add the 50 to there.
Yeah.
I
mean, look, I don't know when they have to give us something soon, right? Like it can't go past September 25th, because obviously it's supposed to launch in October. So they got to give us a pre-order date. They got to give us a price. I'm actually surprised it's taken this long, but there is an event happening. It is a Tokyo Game Show. They are trying to reach an audience or audiences in that, in that region of the world that they have never been able to, get a foothold on. Korea would be a big spot for them. Japan will be a huge spot for them. China would be an even bigger spot for them if they can get the lower end model, which according to UK is not, it's the little brother, but it's not like the little brother that no one pays attention to. It is. I mean, when you listen to like someone like Fuzzy Belvedere, he's come out and said, "Oh, that 549 model is legit."
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So is it going to have all the bells and whistles of the $900 one? Well, no. Obviously, it's a $350, potentially $400 difference. But for the casual gamer, if you say $500 for the new Xbox handheld, because that's what people are calling it, and I know a lot of people are going to push back and say, "Well, no, it's an OEM device. It has an Xbox button, and it's called the Xbox Ally." They should have called the Xbox Ally S. Is what they. I think it's a foregone conclusion that's the S and the X is the other one. That's it, folks. But again, we will see. I know. Real quick, Wacko Games in the chat says, "You really think that Microsoft will reveal Forza Horizon 6 at 3 a.m. while the West sleeps?" Absolutely, because even though it's Forza is something that we play, it's in Japan. And they absolutely would announce it. I mean, listen, you're going to get up in the morning and you're going to see all the press people. I'll put it that all the press are going to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning watching this thing. So when you get up from wherever you are, you're going to wake up to this explosion of news. And I'm going to be excited because I'm going to have a lot to talk about. So I'm very excited about that. But gentlemen, listen, we still got about 20 minutes, give or take. I want to keep it focused on the Tokyo Game Show. But I want to do that with a twist. Now, today is a special day for anyone who's a Sega head, and of course, I'm looking at my brothers, King David, Lord Cognito, Neo GameSpark, my brother Neo Mental, myself. You guys on the panel, a lot of people in the chat. This is the 26th anniversary of the Dreamcast, 9/9/99. I remember my brother was working at FuncoLand at the time, right? Which when it was before, any old OGs know what I'm talking about. FuncoLand was what it was called before it was GameStop. And he was working on the store in Central Avenue where I started many, many years ago. Before I became a police officer, I was a manager at FuncoLand on Central Avenue, believe it or not. And then I got my own store. I was an assistant manager, and I got my own store in Nanuet. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was crazy. They just gave me a store because they thought I knew what I was doing. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But 9/9/99 here in New Rochelle, New York, which is of course where my wife and I were. We weren't even married at the time. We were living together. But it happened to be a monsoon, and the Hutchinson River Parkway was underwater, under 5 feet of water. And somehow or another, I found my way up to Central Avenue by taking the side streets from here in New Rochelle. There was no GPS back then, so you had to kind of figure it out yourself. And I ran parallel to the highway until I got into Yonkers, and I'm like, okay, I know where I'm going to pick him up to bring him home, but to also pick up my Dreamcast and every launch title that they released. I bought everything. BMUs, I had multiple controllers, every game and that launch I bought. It was still one of my favorite launch lists of games. But why we're talking about the Dreamcast is because of a tweet that came the way of Hazador Gaming. And of course, this man, he just keeps it a buck. He puts out such great information on Twitter. If you're not following him already, please follow Hazador Gaming. And no G, just GAMIN. Well, we know that that Sega is going to have 9 games to show, one of which is going to be Sonic Racing. Makes sense. The game is coming out, which, by the way, if you haven't played the demo, go play it. There's a new demo happening on the 17th. Phenomenal. Have you played it, Kay?
I have. I got a chance to play it at Gamescom. Very fun. Like it gives. They will come for me. It gives
No,
Mario
say
Kart a
it.
run for its money. It's
It gives.
really good.
I will say it. I'll say it with you in unison. It gives Mario Kart a run for its money. It is freaking
they're gonna come for me.
phenomenal.
I'm just saying.
Yes, that's fine. They're also going to be showing off the new Virtual Fighter 5 Revo World Stage, Football Manager 26, P3, Persona 3 Reloaded, and P5, P5X, Persona 5, the Phantom X. But there's, as much as that's interesting, great. Those are titles that some people are going to get excited for. I'm here for anything new Virtual Fighter. We haven't had one in a long time. But that's not what we're here to talk about, gentlemen. Okay, because a couple of years ago, Sarah Bond obviously met with the fine folks in Japan at Sega. She took pictures of it. Remember, we thought they were going to buy. Remember, everyone said, "Oh, look, she took pictures. That means that they're going to acquire Sega." I remember that conversation. Everyone, I know you're smiling wherever you're listening from. But out of the block of slots, there are 4 empty slots, and it says coming soon. Now, we just had Shinobi come out, which I think is going to be in the Game of the Year running. That game is, Kay, you could not have given it more praise than you gave it to me. And when I finally got a chance to play it, it's one of those games you can't. I'll put it to this way. It's one of my favorite games of the year. I know it's only about 14 hours. I'm an OG Sega Master System. Was that the first Shinobi? Was the Master System, or was it the Genesis?
I think it was the Master.
Might have been the Master System. I know the Genesis had the one with Shinobi where he fought Godzilla and a guy that looked like Batman. I remember that. That was actually really good. But
yes, Shinobi was on the Master System.
Yeah. Okay. So I played it first there. Look, there are 4 slots, and the reason why I mentioned Sarah Bond is because we learned from her that they were teaming up with Sega to do the Super Game Initiative, and it's been super quiet ever since. Now, they've been working on some stuff. We saw some trailers. Remember, we had a trailer at the Game Awards a couple of years ago where we got glimpses of some of the games they were working on. Golden Axe. I believe they're working on a new Altered Beast. There is a new Streets of Rage, Jet Set Radio, which, of course, I think is going to show up there in a big way. Guys, there are 4 slots. My question to you and to the chat is, what 4 OG Sega games do you want to see show up at the Tokyo Game Show? Because I know which ones I want. And but I want to get your thoughts, because, again, just based on the quality from Shinobi, they're cooking over at Sega. So the new Sonic Racer, chef's kiss, ladies and gentlemen. Go play the demo, and there's a new demo I think dropping on the 17th of September. Go download it. It is chef's kiss. If you like Mario Kart or you like any of the other Sega races, you're going to freaking love this. It is fast. It is gorgeous. That's 2 for 2 in my opinion. But again, I saw a little bit of Streets of Rage, a little bit of Golden Axe. It looks crazy. Jet Set Radio is, peaked its, showing a peak. Oh, man, dude, like what so Kay Asante, what 4 Sega games would you be hopeful that would show up at the Tokyo Game Show?
So, and these are just wild speculatory Sega games that just out of nowhere that you'd want to have come back.
Well, we know Jet Set Radio was number 1 for you,
because Jet Set Radio is number 1 for me. So that's out of the running, right? But I do have some games in my head that I remember from the days of yore that I distinctly remember fondly that I would love to have come back. One being Altered Beast.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yes.
Loved Altered Beast. 2, Outrun. I don't know why. I loved Outrun.
Bro, that
Outrun.
is a great pick, dude. Holy crap.
Right? There was a fighting game that I also loved so much, and I see Comic Zone. Obviously, that's low-hanging fruit. Comic Zone for sure. Absolutely, Comic Zone. Yes. Isn't there like a Comic Zone? Everborn was talking to me about that recently. There's like a Comic Zone that's not being made officially by Sega, It's like there's a
No.
Nintendo, there's a on Steam, and it's also kind of cool. Like it's like zero Comic Zone. Like it's a weird. I'll find the video and send it to you, Boom. But there people are making renditions. Ninja Squirrel 30. That's one as well. Shadow Dancer. Oh my god, I love Shadow
Dude,
Dancer.
that's
I played
crazy.
the hell out of that game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god. Yes.
And then Leonard Herrera reminds me of the game I was talking about. I was gonna go grab my fight stick that's right over there. We're talking Eternal Champions.
Oh, bro, yes.
That.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
The one.
Freaking great picks, bro. So you know what, Harkeep, before we bring you in, brother, I just want to read some of the people, some of the chat's thoughts. So Leonard Herrera says Fantasy Star remake. Oh, bro, yes. King Webb says Streets of Rage, absolutely. Negative Zero said Eternal Champions, but he also said Panzer Dragon Ziwi. Well, guess what? Your wish has been answered because there's a remake coming. I think it's gonna be 20 bucks. Awesome. Panzer Dragon Ziwi's getting a remake like Panzer Dragon, the original. And yeah, I think it's like 20 bucks. Day one purchase for me. We also have here, They Can't Stop Me said Comic Zone. Nino Vestic says Virtual Tennis. Oh, wow. That's a really good one, dude. I like that. Be Nice says Golden Axe, Altered Beast, Afterburner. Whoa, my God. That would be a great one. But Hargeet, I don't know how much of a Sega fan you were. Obviously, I'm gushing. And I'll get to the couple of super chats that we got here. We do have a gifted membership as well. What do you want to see Sega? Because again, this is an opportunity. Sega is on a good run, right? They've done really well with the Persona series. They've done really well with the Dragon series. They just released Shinobi to incredible reviews. Sonic is charting with the people because of the demo that's out that you can play. It is really well done. I don't know if it's any of the old school AM team members making this game, but it sure feels like it, especially if you are an OG like me that played these games from the AM2 team in the arcades. So it definitely has that feeling. What 4 games are you hoping show up there?
Well, I mean, many of them mentioned. I like some of the newer stuff too, but if we only want to look at older games, Altered Beast, and I think I put this out there, was like if they took that and did like an Order 1886 level thing with it.
Holy crap,
that would be a really cool thing to pull off.
That would be awesome.
Right? And then they had Golden Axe. Afterburner is kind of an interesting one. I'm not that much into racers, but Outrun that'd be an interesting one to bring up because it was kind of more of an arcadey game. If they could really do like a Forza Horizon level, right, type thing to that could be interesting. But look, I'm much more fond of kind of the newer stuff too. So like the Yakuza series, yes, that's awesome stuff. Let's have more of that.
Okay, that's fair.
So and Atlas is good. I just finished like Persona 3 Reload, I think was the one I just did. Done 5, 4, right? So if they wanted to do some of the older ones, like they've been doing that, right? So maybe they do some of the originals, like the 1 and 2, whatever, right? They could go do that as well. So there's plenty of potential there. I've never gotten into the Phantasy Star, like that's them, right? Phantasy Star, I think, is them, right? So I never really got into theirs to that that genre or that franchise. Sorry. So they kind of moved on from one of the other ones that I really liked, which was Shenmue. I think that was Sega originally, right? And then they moved on, and they did like the Yakuza series, and then the creator of Shenmue went and did Shenmue 3, which apparently is coming to Xbox.
Yes, I'm buying.
But if they like collab that to make like a full-on new version of 4, that'd be awesome. Or just even like update 1 and 2 to be like a more modern rendition of that, right? That'd be interesting to see. So I mean, that's more than 4, but no,
it's okay. Listen, it's
that would be interesting to me. Is those kind of games, but yeah.
Someone actually just said, what if they did some sort of a Shenmue Yakuza crossover?
I mean, Yakuza really is the spiritual successor.
It
of
really
Shenmue,
is.
right?
Ultimately, that's exactly
So-
what it is. So, yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so they could certainly look at doing some, and somebody just put in like the Yakuza Kiwamis, right? They've done sort of a redux of the original couple of games. Like, could they do that for the next few, like 3 to 5, right? To kind of bring them up to speed, right? They're kind of older style games because they're kind of old at this point, but bring them up to a more modern look. Yeah, those are definitely awesome potentials. But I would love to see like a Shenmue 4. Just bring that franchise back to some level of prominence. But I don't know if they're really interested in partnering on that or not. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff there. I would love to see like, as I said, like Altered Beast, but bring it to like that Order 1886 level. Do
Oh,
something
man.
crazy with it. That'd be kind of cool, right? Like let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, they don't get any more classic than Sega. Sega, I think, is on definitely a high swing. Music 72 in the chat says too that I actually would fall out of my chair for, and that's a new Daytona or Sega Rally. Like, oh my God, yes! I think it was like a month ago, I was playing Daytona on the Series X. Like, because obviously, if you had it downloaded from the Xbox 360 days, you can download it. I played it. My God, there's nothing like hearing that rolling start as the game to get you excited as an OG Sega fan. But look, real quick, we have a gifted sub and a chat and a super chat here, and I'm gonna get everyone out of here. We're at the 90-minute mark, folks, and I got to get up super early tomorrow. Nino Vistic, our generous friend from Hawaii, has done what he's done many times before, and that is gifted one double barrel game membership. Thank you so much for that, brother. We super appreciate the consistent generosity and the kindness is we're very thankful for it. Mac 22, Mac, great to see you here, brother. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Cry on camera, you big girl." Hashtag Graybeard. Yeah, I mean, Banjo-Kazooie would get me to cry. That'd be one of them for sure. Because listen, I'm never gonna get it. I know that we've talked, whatever. I have an interesting story that I will tell when the time is right. Kay Sante and Hargeet were there for this conversation. I can't specifically say anymore. But if it ever happens, your boy is not going to know what to do with himself. I'll say that much.
Oh yeah, I think I know what's
boy, yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with me, Kay Asante, and Hargeet. Appreciate everyone stopping by. Again, tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, C Money and myself will be, hanging out for about 75-ish minutes talking about, whatever it is, because I have to, look at the notes and write the show. And of course, Friday morning's Breakfast at Boom is going to be an all-star cast. We're going to have Silent Cypher, Crispy Bomb, myself, Fuzzy Belvedere, and we may have even more people. It should be a loaded show. Hopefully there's a lot of big information to pop out. And we'll have a great show on Friday, and then we'll, of course, all get to the weekend. And the more we roll through September, the closer we get to the Tokyo Game Show. And I really think Xbox is going to show up and show out. I'm very excited. And I do hope that they again, it's just a rumor, folks, and we don't have it confirmed. But man, if Forza Horizon 6 shows up there and is in Japan, it's gonna stop the presses, so to speak. But Kayasante, let's sell the brand, brother. This Saturday, you and of course the Neelist one, I don't know if they've gone back yet, Everborn Saga, are going to be sitting down for, of course, the Gaming Circle podcast, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what the topic's going to be, but man, there's been a lot to get into. There's been some executives making some comments that probably they shouldn't have, and
wild comments, man.
Wild, absolutely wild. And again, at least the Series S wasn't to blame for some of the troubles of the industry.
Well,
it was something
so
else.
I actually will say, and I don't know if it's going to be this weekend because I'm putting the man on the spot, but soon enough, there will be a show on GCP where one of our great we call them combatants in our panel will defend the year, which was the greatest year of gaming based on his win, 2007, against the one Hargeet Chani who wants to defend his title. He wants to take him down and take the title. So there may be, and what am I talking
I don't know
about?
about that because I think 2007 is one of the best years ever. But
we have this
it's a tough one.
style. It's for game. It's for fun. We have this Oxford
fun,
style
of
back
course,
and forth debate on the show. 2007 won against 2017, and Hargeet wants to represent what 1998. I thought you said it was.
I believe it's 98, which had a lot.
Yeah, he wants to represent 98, and he wants to say that 98 might be better than 2007. So we're working on that one. There may be an episode in a coming week or two, couple weeks, where you might see that. So stuff like that, we like to do fun stuff. But otherwise, of course, we're talking handheld. We're talking like just gaming in general. There's lots of, as you say, wild things afoot in gaming. So come catch us Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every once in a while, you know, somebody else will jump in because that's how it happens on the Gaming Circle.
Mm-hmm.
You can also you can join the Discord, which is discord.gg/TGCP, the Gaming Circle Podcast. Literally one of the best places. We love hanging out there. At any moment's notice, there's like 20 people in voice chats. It's just wild. People just having great conversations, not even text, but voice chats.
No,
like,
voice chats. Yeah, no, it gets, folks, I'm going to say two things. One, watch your six and bring a Shankfest because those streets are deadly, especially when you say something that a lot of people don't like. So
as of right now, there's like 16, 17 people in a voice chat right now in the gaming talk section. It's now.
It's fun. It's a fun place. It's all gamers.
Yes.
It's a lot of. I mean, again, it's very pointed, and there are people that do stand and defend their perches as you should. But we get lots of voices there, all walks of life from all around the world. We even get developers in there from time to time wanting to talk to us about their games. So come check it out. The Gaming Circle Podcast Discord. That's discord.gg/TGCP. Thank you. Nice. Good stuff. Hey, Hargeet, let's sell the brand, brother. Obviously, if you didn't know, folks, he did write a book last year called Emergence. You can see it behind him right there. If you're interested in reading a book that is very Mass Effect ish, you might want to check it out. Also, he has a YouTube channel that he puts content on outside of joining pretty much everyone's podcast. So by all means, Hargeet, sell the brand. Where can people find you on other shows? Where can people not find you on social media, which is great? And where can people potentially buy your book?
Yeah, so if you want to pick up my book, shop.johnny.us, check it out. If you want to sign up for my channel, subscribe to my channel. It's ArgeetJohnny1 on YouTube. I'll be on with C Money and Doodle, assuming we're on Friday at 8 to 9-ish p.m., somewhere in there on Friday at U.S. Eastern Time. And then Saturday with Fawn, 6-ish p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And then with Web Dave at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Sunday. And then we'll be back next week and see what the heck's going on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's been a lot of news. I put it this way. For podcasters, it's been great. There's been no barren weeks that were kind of like, oh, I don't know what to talk about. Everything is always happening. This has been a very news-filled year. And it's been one of the best years in gaming for games, especially Xbox Game Pass. I think that this year alone is probably the best year they've ever had, and it's not over yet. You still have a ton of stuff dropping, and who knows, you could get something shadow dropped at the Tokyo Game Show, like, I don't know, Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I think would be just a monster-sized announcement.
Or something we've never heard of.
Yeah, I mean, it's always possible. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. A big thank you to the gifted sub and, of course, the super chat that popped in here. Mrs. Boom and I are incredibly grateful for the support for the channel, both financially and, of course, through your views, your shares, and your likes. And before we get out of here, folks, hit the like button and share this on the socials. But if you're not already subscribed, Mrs. Boom and I would greatly appreciate that you consider subscribing to the channel as we now move into that hunt for 17K. And hopefully we can get there by year's end. We don't know. We'll see. But whatever new subs we get, we're always grateful for it. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.